So they enjoy the same benefit as Kenyans. So it is the same Kenyan police and Kenyan security apparatus that provide security to both refugees and locals. And first and foremost, I would like to appreciate the government of Kenya for hosting us for very many years that we've been here in Kenya, and very many decades. And it's not that we take it for granted, but sometimes circumstances forces people to do what they are not supposed to do. And when you talk of education, yes, we understand it is a fundamental right for every child to get education.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, some of the refugees cannot access good education. Why do I say good education? Some of them, how do you go to school when you don't have money? How do you go to school when you're hungry? So, like, whatever they get in the refugee camp in terms of food is not sufficient that we can say as a human being can depend on that. Refugees are people like any other person. So that one, many people do not understand that refugees also have something to contribute. They have great potentials that Kenya can tap into and also benefit. But because of some issues that are there or barriers, that's why they cannot access quality education. When we mean quality education, it's quality education that any other child should access.
Mm-hmm.
And whereby you find, because of some psychological problems, some of them could not go to school because of what they had seen from their country of origin. Some of them have not healed from the trauma. And it could be maybe finances that stops them from accessing quality education. That's why they just go to these schools simply because they want to be in school. But they need also to access quality education. And sometimes they drop out because of trauma that comes with it, discrimination that is there. But we are encouraging, not every Kenyan is bad. In every society, there is always a mad person. There's good people and bad people. Even in the society that we comes from, we can't say we are 100% perfect. So there must be always some people that are not good, even bad element among ourselves. Same as to Kenyans. So we should not blame anybody, or do not think refugees are here to take away opportunities from you.
Yeah, and I believe that those are some of the stereotypes that these refugees undergo. And some are, there are people that will see them as aliens, just as the term it is. It's like they came to take the opportunities. Some of them are even accused of being terrorists. Some are accused of theft. So I believe that's where your organization will come in, maybe to offer maybe civic education to the refugees, because I believe they're in a place where if no person looks at their issues apart from resources, distribution of resources, they could be undergoing a lot of psychological torture. So maybe you can tell us briefly, like, if there's any initiative that your organization has put in place to ensure that these people receive mentorship, they are taken through various trainings on how to relate even with Kenyans.
Yeah, thank you very much. If I may start with the last one, as well as Kenyans also needs to be educated on some of these matters so that they can get to understand who are our refugees. So nobody knows yourself better than you do. And the reason why we say nothing for refugees without refugees, because we believe refugees knows themselves better than anyone does. Because today you will not tell me that this is something that I want to do for you without having me involved in. So you never heard from me from the word go. First and foremost, you need to engage the refugees. Get to understand what are their needs. Then you can go ahead and maybe develop, if it's a program that you want to bring for refugees, which we don't think if it's a bad thing. And we do encourage as an umbrella body, not only in Kenya, even worldwide, that refugees should be involved in every decision-making table, and also policy dialogues on matters affecting their day-to-day lives. Because we believe even in Kenyan society, whenever a certain legislation before it's introduced to the parliament, they usually have some consultative meetings with the community members in order to take them through a certain legislative or any change in policies. They have to get to understand there's that community participation. But we find at times refugees are not involved. You just caught by surprise that there's this law that has been passed. There's this ABC that has been passed. Having said that, refugees are part of the community that you live in. And if we don't also get to involve them, how will you say they just did what they did, but they know what the law says? Ignorance is not, as you usually say, it's not a defense of the law. So if someone is not aware, get to make them understand what does the law says, what is this. If you make them learn, it will be very difficult for them to go against what they know. So I think it could be perhaps for the lack of knowledge that they do some things that they do. And we also appreciate the fact that some of the civil society organizations in Kenya, they are doing quite a good job, including Kituo cha Sheria, RCK, and UNHCR. At times they do conduct some sensitization forums to educate refugees on their rights and obligations, so whereby they need to understand. And despite that, they quite face a lot of challenges. So we are calling upon our Kenyan brothers and sisters, especially during this period of elections, they need to take it easy. They need to tolerate each other, because all of us, we are brothers and sisters. We are all Africans. Today we have seen so many other African countries who are your neighboring countries coming to the East African board. So how do you segregate them? And yet you will become one. You need to have that easy movement, that access to mobility, whereby one can move from one country to the other very easily. So there are some of the basic things that people need to understand of who are refugees. Why are they in Kenya? It's not that they are here just to take away opportunities from you, or they are here just to eat your resources. Which resources that they are eating from? They also work like any other individuals. So we have intellect, mind people among ourselves. So there's a lot that you benefit from refugees without knowing. But many a times you'd hear some people complaining refugees are not good, they are bad elements, they are a threat to our security. So which I usually question myself, if they are threat to security, why don't you bring them to book like any other individual? Because the constitution is very clear. Anybody who commits crime should be charged in accordance with the Kenyan laws. And yet, being in the land of Kenya, then definitely you must comply with the Kenyan laws. So I don't think if it is a good thing to label some people. If something has done something, then the whole community is labeled on that. So I don't believe if there is a bad element among our community, we don't say
like the way you said, where there is bad, there is good. And we cannot have a community where everyone does good. So, but unfortunately for refugees, when one does wrong, all refugees are stereotyped that these people are a threat. But
they should be brought to book. That is what we are asking. Even the last time there was a challenge when there was an encampment policy during the Usalama Watch. People moved to court and said, unless you produce enough evidence to say so and so have been caught doing this. But nothing has ever come to the attention of the media and even in court. That's why the case was dismissed. But we don't say there is no bad element. If there is bad element, yes, they are there, but how do you get rid of them? Take them to the book. So it is good you discipline them like the way you discipline any other Kenyan who commit crimes. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Judith. What I can add on that, you see the issue of harassment to the police.
Yeah.
But for all refugees, some of them have lack of understanding. Because now, for example, if I've been arrested by the police, in the law, Article 51 or 50 or 49, it gives you the answer. If you have been arrested, there is a rule you follow to keep silent, or you can speak, you can express yourself, or the police will tell you, you have been arrested with this one, reason and this. Now you'll understand. Because now if they identify you fear, there is some guide, not everyone. Then they say, kuna kitu kidogo. I think.
Yeah.
Now because that person you have a fear. For example, if there is a issue of insecurity, now they say, people say Al-Shabaab, what? Now the whole high will be refugees. Now they will look at refugees as criminal, which is not true. For example, now if I live in Kikuyu, because now I live in Kikuyu, if I have a problem, I will go to police or to my area chief. I will address my concern. Then the authority will take the action, because in the law, Bill of Chapter 4, Bill of Rights, we are all equal. Refugees, they have potential, but the problem is we don't get the opportunity in Kenya to work, whether we can get a job, but we are educated. But the problem is the system. I think now, to get there where I can get a job, even if I work in a supermarket or in a hotel, as long as I give my alien card, it is identify me. Then I can get help. Because now we are not benefiting too much in UNHCR. Only few people get resettled, not everyone. Because in perception of refugees, they think the aim is to go to USA or Canada or Australia, but not everyone is going. But it depends with the case, with the individual. They see your case. Even if you came in 1999, you are still here in Kenya. But you have many years. Why cannot the government could not give them an opportunity to get a job? Some of them married with a Kenyan, which is good. It is their right, because if you love a person, it is your choice, because you love that person. Doesn't matter the where you came from, but you like it. But the most of thing is, let the government give us opportunity, if possible, because we are the people, we are all African, like J. Paul said, yes, so that we can have a good common goal to share things together. Yes.